Good morning. I want to remind you today that you are not ordinary, you are not average. You didn't just happen to show up on this earth by accident. No, the creator of the universe, the Most High God, has crowned you with His favor. He has placed something on your life that sets you apart, something that causes you to stand out. You may not see it yet, but there's a force working in your direction. A power that is making ways where there were no ways. When God crowns you with His favor, that means He endorses you. He speaks for you. He fights battles on your behalf. It means He will open doors you never dreamed would open. You may look at your situation today and think, I don't see it. The odds are against me. I don't have the connections, the resources, or the strength. But let me encourage you. Favor is not about what you see, it's about what God has already spoken over your life. Think about David. He was just a shepherd boy, overlooked, underestimated, and forgotten. But God had already placed a crown on his head long before anyone recognized it. People may have written him off, but God's favor had already positioned him for the throne. That same favor is on you today. You may feel hidden, unqualified, or stuck in a place that doesn't match the dreams in your heart. But let me tell you, when it's your time, no force on earth can stop God's plan. The enemy will try to convince you that you're not good enough, that you've made too many mistakes, or that you're too far behind. But here's the good news. The crown of favor is not something you earn. It's something God freely placed on your life. That means nothing you've done, no mistake, no disappointment, no delay can take it away. The favor of God is permanent. It's working in your life right now. So I challenge you today. Start seeing yourself the way God sees you. Lift your head, square your shoulders, and walk in confidence. You are a child of the Most High God, crowned with His favor, anointed to do great things. This is your time. This is your moment. The forces that were trying to stop you are being broken. New doors are about to open, and the best is yet to come. Get ready, because God's favor is taking you places you never imagined. Before you took your first breath, before you ever faced a single challenge in life, God had already placed His hand upon you. You are not here by accident, not some random collection of circumstances, not a product of chance. You have been intentionally designed by the Almighty, set apart for something greater than you can imagine. The moment you stepped into this world, God marked you with His divine favor, placing His anointing upon your life. This favor is not something you have to earn. It's not based on what family you were born into, how much money you have, or how many degrees you've accumulated. It's not tied to your talents, your appearance, or your connections. It's something far greater, something that God Himself ordained before you even arrived. He looked across eternity, saw you, and said, "This one is mine. I have a special plan, a unique assignment, and a purpose for them that no one else can fulfill." When you truly grasp this, when you understand that you have been marked for greatness, it changes the way you see yourself. You no longer walk around with your head down, feeling inadequate, overlooked, or unworthy. You stop believing the lies that say you're not good enough, that you don't have what it takes, or that your past disqualifies you from what God wants to do in your future. No, you begin to see yourself as God sees you, chosen, empowered, and crowned with His favor. Life has a way of trying to convince you otherwise. You may have faced disappointments, setbacks, or struggles that make it hard to believe that you are special. Maybe you didn't grow up in an environment that spoke life into you. Perhaps people told you that you would never amount to much, that you weren't smart enough, talented enough, or strong enough. But the opinions of others do not determine your destiny. People didn't put God's favor on you, and people can't take it off. Think about Moses. He was a Hebrew baby born into a time when Pharaoh had ordered all Hebrew boys to be killed. By all logic, he shouldn't have survived. His mother hid him for as long as she could, then placed him in a basket and set him afloat on the Nile River, completely vulnerable and unprotected. Yet that baby was marked for greatness. God had already written a plan for his life, and not even the most powerful ruler in the land could stop it. Instead of being destroyed, Moses was rescued and raised in the very palace of the one who had ordered his death. That's what happens when God marks you. His favor will cause you to be in the right place, at the right time, with the right people. Even when the odds are stacked against you, His plan will prevail. The same is true for you. There may have been times when you felt overlooked, forgotten, or stuck in a place that didn't seem to match the dreams in your heart. But just because you haven't seen the full manifestation of God's favor yet, doesn't mean it's not there. Sometimes the favor of God is working behind the scenes, setting things in motion that you can't yet see. Your job is not to question whether or not you are favored. It is to trust that the favor God has placed on your life will bring His plans to pass at the right time. When you are marked for greatness, you don't have to force things to happen. You don't have to manipulate circumstances, strive to prove yourself, or push doors open. God's favor is like a divine escort. It will go ahead of you, preparing the way. It will cause people to notice you who wouldn't have paid attention otherwise. It will open doors that should have remained closed. It will create opportunities that no amount of networking or effort could have achieved on its own. Look at Joseph. He was sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused and thrown into prison. By all natural reasoning, he should have been forgotten. Another victim of injustice. Another person whose dreams never came to pass. But he wasn't just anyone. He was marked by God. And even in the prison, God's favor was upon him. He found favor with the prison officials, was placed in charge of everything, and in a single day was elevated from the prison to the palace, becoming second in command over all of Egypt. That's what happens when God's favor is on your life. It doesn't matter how low you've fallen, how many people have turned against you, or how impossible the situation seems. When it's time for you to rise, nothing can hold you down. Maybe you've had people walk away from you. Maybe you've lost a job, missed an opportunity, or feel like you're behind in life. But you need to remind yourself today, you are still marked. The favor on your life is not dependent on circumstances. It is dependent on the one who placed it there. And He never makes mistakes. What He started in you, He will complete. So hold your head high. Walk in confidence. Stop second-guessing yourself. Stop apologizing for being blessed. And stop downplaying your worth. You don't have to fit in with the crowd when you were called to stand out. You don't have to shrink back when God has anointed you to rise. There is a crown of favor on your head, placed there by the Almighty Himself, and no force on earth can remove it. No matter what comes your way, remember this: you are not ordinary, you are not average, and you are certainly not forgotten. You are a child of the Most High God, chosen for a purpose, destined for greatness, and crowned with His favor. Life is full of ups and downs. There are moments of joy, breakthroughs, and answered prayers. But there are also seasons of difficulty where it feels like everything is working against you. Maybe you faced an unexpected setback, a job loss, a broken relationship, a failed opportunity. Perhaps you've been believing for something, praying, standing in faith, yet nothing seems to be changing. It's easy in these moments to feel like the challenge is permanent, like the struggle is here to stay. But the truth is, what you are facing is only temporary. It may feel overwhelming. It may seem like there's no way out, but it is not your final destination. You were not created to live stuck, defeated, or burdened by problems. You are not defined by the difficulty you're going through. The challenge may be real, but it does not have the authority to determine your future. What is happening around you is subject to change. But what God has spoken over your life is eternal. His word, His promises, and His favor are not shaken by temporary circumstances. Look at the storms that come in nature. The wind howls, the rain pours down, the sky turns dark. It may last for hours, even days, but eventually the clouds part, the sun comes out, and the storm passes. No storm lasts forever. And just like in nature, the storms of life have an expiration date. They may try to linger, they may seem persistent, but they cannot last. the financial struggle, the health challenge, the loneliness, the disappointment. It's all temporary. You may not see how things will turn around, but you don't have to figure it all out. Your job is to trust that behind the scenes, God is already working things out in your favor. Think about a seed planted in the ground. At first, it looks buried, covered in darkness, unseen by the world. It would be easy to assume nothing is happening, that the seed is stuck. But underneath the soil, there's a process taking place. The roots are growing, the foundation is being established, and at the right time, that seed will break through the ground and begin to flourish. In the same way, what you are going through right now may feel like it's burying you, like you're being overlooked or forgotten. But what you may not realize is that you are not buried, you are planted. The pressure, the struggle, the waiting, it's all part of the process. God is using it to strengthen you, to prepare you for something greater. Joseph went through years of difficulty. He was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and later thrown into prison for something he didn't even do. By all appearances, it looked like his struggles would never end. But even in the prison, even in the lowest moments, Joseph was still favored by God. He didn't allow the temporary difficulty to define his future. And at the appointed time, God lifted him up, taking him from the prison to the palace in a single day. What looked like a lifetime of struggle was actually just a setup for the incredible favor that was about to be released in his life. The same is true for you. You may be in a difficult place now, but that does not mean it will always be this way. You may feel stuck, but God is not limited by circumstance. His favor is still working even when you can't see it. That sickness is not the end of your story. That financial hardship is not going to last forever. That closed door does not mean your dreams are over. If you will keep believing, keep trusting, and keep walking forward, you will see that the challenges you thought would break you are actually positioning you for greater favor. David wrote, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." Notice the difficulty is temporary. It may endure for a night, but it doesn't stay forever. The morning is coming. The breakthrough is coming. The healing, the promotion, the restoration, it's all on its way. The favor God has placed on your life is not something that can be canceled, reversed, or taken away by circumstances. That means you don't have to live fear of challenges. You don't have to let difficulties make you question whether God is still with you. His favor is not dependent on everything going smoothly. It's not based on whether people approve of you or doors easily open. His favor remains on you through the ups and the downs, through the victories and the struggles. It is not conditional. When you understand this, it changes your perspective. Instead of getting discouraged by challenges, you start seeing them as temporary. You start reminding yourself, this is just a season. This problem is not my destiny. God has already crowned me with His favor, and that favor will carry me through this difficulty. Maybe you've been feeling like you're stuck in a waiting period, wondering when things will shift. But what if the delay is actually part of God's preparation? What if He is strengthening you, refining you, positioning you so that when the breakthrough comes, you will be ready to step into it fully? Life may not always be easy, but one thing is for sure, you are not alone. You have been crowned with favor. That means no challenge is too big, no obstacle is too strong, and no difficulty is permanent. What was meant to stop you is only going to be a stepping stone. What looked like a setback is actually a setup. And when it's all said and done, you will look back and see that even in the hardest moments, God's favor was still working, leading you to greater things than you ever imagined. There is something special about you. There is something different about the way you walk, the way you move through life, the way things seem to come together, even when it looks like the odds are stacked against you. You may not always realize it, and others may not always recognize it, but there is a divine force working behind the scenes on your behalf. That force is the favor of God. This favor is not something you have to strive for, not something you have to prove yourself worthy of. It is already on you. It was placed on your life by the one who created you, by the one who designed you with a purpose in mind. When you step into a room, you don't step in alone. When you go into a meeting, when you apply for a job, when you set out to pursue a dream, there is something beyond your talent, beyond your qualifications, beyond your connections that is working for you. It is the unseen advantage, the divine endorsement, the supernatural force that causes you to stand out in the best way possible. This favor is not determined by circumstance. It is not limited by your background, your education, or your resources. It is not contingent upon what others think of you or what they say about you. The world may try to measure you by natural standards, but God has already placed His blessing upon your life, and no one can take it away. His favor is what opens doors that no man can shut. His favor is what puts you in the right place at the right time. His favor is what causes things to shift in your direction, even when it looks like everything is against you. Think about Ruth. She was a widow living in a foreign land with no real prospects for the future. By all accounts, she should have been overlooked. She had no status, no connections, no earthly reason to expect anything good to happen for her. But she carried something that the natural eye could not see. She carried the favor of God. When she went out to glean in the field, she could have ended up anywhere, but God led her to the right place, to the right field, to the right person. Boaz noticed her not just because of her hard work, not just because of her dedication, but because favor made her stand out. That favor led to provision. That favor led to a divine connection. That favor positioned her to be part of a lineage that would one day bring forth kings and ultimately the Savior of the world. The same favor that was on Ruth is on you. You may not see it yet, but it is guiding you, leading you, positioning you for something greater. You are not just out in the world trying to make things happen on your own. You are not just another person going through life hoping for the best. You carry something that will set you apart. People will notice you for reasons they can't even explain. Opportunities will come to you that others may have been striving for but couldn't attain. Things will fall into place that you didn't even plan for. That is the favor of God. Joseph was another example of this. He was thrown into a pit by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused and placed in prison. Everything in the natural said he was forgotten, destined to live in obscurity. But the favor on his life could not be buried. Even in the prison, he rose to a place of leadership. Even in the lowest moments, people recognized that there was something different about him. And at the right time, God's favor took him from the prison to the palace in a single day. That same favor is on you. It doesn't matter what setbacks you have faced. It doesn't matter who has walked away from you, what opportunities have passed you by, or what obstacles stand in your way. When God's favor is on your life, it will make a way where there seems to be no way. It will cause things to shift, to align, to turn in your favor. You don't have to chase after people, trying to make them like you, trying to get their approval. You don't have to manipulate situations, trying to force things to happen. When you carry the blessing, when you carry the favor of God, the right people will be drawn to you. The right doors will open at the right time. That is why you don't need to worry when things don't go according to your plan. You don't need to be discouraged when one door closes or when something doesn't work out the way you hoped. If you could see what God is doing behind the scenes, if you could see how He is orchestrating things in your favor, you would stay in peace. You would rest, knowing that He has already gone ahead of you, that His favor is already working on your behalf. Some opportunities may have passed you by, but the favor on your life is not dependent on missed chances. Some people may have turned against you, but the favor on your life is not controlled by them. What God has placed on you cannot be taken away, cannot be reversed, cannot be diminished by anyone or anything. That means you can walk in confidence. You can move forward boldly, knowing that you are not limited by what you see. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. You are not subject to what others think or say about you. You are carrying something far greater. So start expecting that favor to show up. Start believing that things are going to work out in your favor. Start seeing yourself the way God sees you. Blessed, anointed, set apart, crowned with favor. This is not just wishful thinking. This is not just a positive mindset. This is the truth of who you are. You are favored, you are chosen, and you are destined for something greater than you can imagine. The favor of God is already on your life. Now it's time to walk in it. Life has a way of making us question our worth. Circumstances arise that make us doubt whether we truly have what it takes. Maybe you faced setbacks, disappointments, or rejections that made you wonder if you're good enough, talented enough, or worthy enough. But the truth is, none of these things determine your destiny. None of these challenges change the fact that you have already been crowned with favor. Before you ever encountered a struggle, before you faced a single challenge, God had already placed His hand upon you, marking you for greatness. This means that no matter what comes against you, no matter what obstacles rise up in your path, you are still chosen. You are still equipped. You are still favored. It doesn't matter what mistakes you've made, what opportunities you've missed, or how many times you felt like giving up. The favor of God is not something that can be taken away. It is permanently on your life. When you truly understand this, it changes the way you see yourself. You no longer walk around feeling inadequate, intimidated, or overlooked. You stop comparing yourself to others, wondering if they are more qualified or more deserving. You stop letting negative voices, whether from your past, from other people, or from your own mind, define your worth. Instead, you start to walk with confidence, knowing that you are chosen, empowered, and crowned with divine favor. David was just a shepherd boy when the prophet Samuel came looking for the next king of Israel. His own father didn't think he was worthy. His brothers didn't see anything special in him. When Samuel asked to see Jesse's sons, David wasn't even invited to the lineup. He was left out in the fields tending to the sheep while his brother stood before the prophet. By all appearances, David was overlooked, forgotten, insignificant. But what others failed to see, God had already declared. He had already chosen David, already placed His favor upon him. And when the time was right, David was called out from the fields, anointed in front of his family, and positioned for greatness. The same is true for you. People may not always recognize your potential. You may have been overlooked in the past, passed over for opportunities, or underestimated by those around you. But just because people don't see your worth doesn't mean God hasn't already placed something special on your life. His favor is what qualifies you. His favor is what sets you apart. That means you don't have to fight for approval. You don't have to prove yourself to people, trying to convince them that you are worthy. You don't have to manipulate situations to get ahead. The favor of God is what will promote you at the right time. It is what will open doors that no one else can shut. Think about Esther. She was a young Jewish girl, an orphan, living in a foreign land. By all natural reasoning, she had no reason to expect anything extraordinary to happen in her life. Yet she carried something that couldn't be seen with the natural eye. She carried favor. When the king was searching for a new queen, many other women were more qualified. They came from noble families, had the right background, the right connections. Yet when Esther stepped into the palace, favor caused her to stand out. She wasn't the most experienced, the most well-spoken, or the most prepared, but she was the one who carried something different. And because of that favor, she was chosen to be queen. Not only that, but God positioned her in that role to save an entire nation. That same favor is on your life. You may feel like you don't have what it takes, like others are more qualified, more talented, or more deserving. But when God places His hand upon you, it doesn't matter what the world says. It doesn't matter if you don't have the right background, if you've made mistakes, or if you feel unqualified. His favor is what will cause you to be chosen, to be promoted, to step into something greater than you ever imagined. This is why you must stop disqualifying yourself. Stop looking at your weaknesses, your flaws, your past failures. Stop thinking about who walked away from you, who didn't believe in you, or who rejected you. None of that changes the fact that God has already crowned you with His favor. You don't need everyone to approve of you. You don't need every door to open. You don't need everything to go perfectly. All you need is the favor of God, and that alone is enough to take you where you are meant to go. Joseph's brothers tried to stop him. They threw him into a pit, sold him into slavery, and thought they had ended his dreams. But they didn't realize that they couldn't take away what God had already placed on him. Even in slavery, even in the prison, favor kept working. And when the time was right, Joseph stepped into his destiny, not through human effort, not through manipulation, but because the favor of God lifted him up. The same will happen for you. What people meant for harm, God will use for good. What seemed like a setback was really a setup. What looked like rejection was really divine redirection. The favor on your life is greater than any obstacle, greater than any opposition, greater than any challenge. So stop second guessing yourself. Stop living in fear, wondering if you have what it takes. Stop apologizing for being blessed, for being chosen, for walking in favor. You don't have to shrink back when God has anointed you to rise. You don't have to downplay your blessings to make others comfortable. You have been crowned with favor. Walk in it, own it, believe it. Step into every opportunity, every challenge, every new season with the confidence of someone who knows that they are divinely chosen. What God has placed on you cannot be removed, cannot be stolen, cannot be diminished. Keep moving forward, keep trusting, keep expecting that favor to show up in your life because it is already there. It has been placed on you, and it will carry you into everything God has prepared for you. There are moments in life when it feels like you are up against impossible odds. You may find yourself in a situation where everything seems to be working against you, where the obstacles in front of you seem too big, too strong, too overwhelming. Maybe you've been trying to move forward, but every step feels like a struggle. Maybe you've been believing for something, praying, standing in faith, but the answer hasn't come yet. It's easy in these moments to feel discouraged, to wonder if things will ever change. But here's the truth. You are not in this fight alone. You're not left to figure everything out by yourself. The favor on your life is not just something passive, not just a label that sits idly by. It is a force, a power that is actively working on your behalf. Even when you can't see it, even when nothing seems to be happening, favor is moving, making a way, clearing a path where there seems to be no way. Think about the children of Israel when they stood at the Red Sea. Behind them, the Egyptian army was closing in, and in front of them was an impassable body of water. In the natural, it looked like they were trapped. There was no logical way out. But what they didn't realize was that favor was already working. While they saw an impossible situation, God saw an opportunity to display His power. In a moment, the waters parted, and the very thing that looked like it would stop them became the pathway to their deliverance. The same is true for you. You may be looking at obstacles right now that seem impossible to overcome. You may be facing situations that feel like they have no solution, but what looks like a dead end is no match for the favor on your life. What seems unmovable can shift in an instant. What appears to be standing in your way can turn into the very thing that propels you forward. That's why you don't have to live in fear. You don't have to let worry consume your thoughts. You don't have to waste energy trying to figure everything out. The favor on your life is what will make things happen that you could never make happen on your own. It is what will open doors that no one else can shut. It is what will bring the right people, the right opportunities, the right connections into your life at just the right time. Joseph experienced this kind of favor after being betrayed by his own brothers, after being sold into slavery, after being falsely accused and thrown into prison. He had every reason to believe that his dreams were over. He could have accepted defeat, assumed that his circumstances were permanent, but even in the lowest moments, favor was still at work. It was favor that caused him to rise in Potiphar's house. It was favor that gave him influence in the prison. And when the time was right, it was favor that lifted him up, taking him from the prison to the palace in a single day. That is the power of divine favor. It doesn't just sustain you, it propels you forward. It doesn't just help you endure, it lifts you up, positioning you for things that you never imagined. This is why you must keep moving forward, even when it feels like nothing is changing. This is why you must keep believing, even when the odds are stacked against you, because the favor on your life is greater than any opposition. It is stronger than any setback. It is more powerful than any force that tries to hold you back. Think about Esther. She was a young Jewish woman, an orphan, living in a foreign land. There was nothing about her in the natural that made her stand out. By all logical reasoning, she should have lived an ordinary life, unnoticed and unremarkable. But there was something on her that others couldn't see. There was a force working behind the scenes, positioning her, preparing her, setting her up for something greater. When she stepped into the palace, she wasn't the most experienced. She wasn't the most qualified. But favor caused her to rise above the rest. Favor made her stand out in the king's eyes. Favor placed her in a position where she could save an entire nation. That same favor is on you. It is positioning you. It is working behind the scenes. It is orchestrating things in ways you cannot see or understand. Maybe you feel like you're stuck, like things aren't moving as fast as you'd like. Maybe you've been facing opposition, people who don't believe in you, situations that seem unfair. But what you need to remember is that nothing can stop the favor of God on your life. It doesn't matter who is against you. It doesn't matter what obstacles are in your path. What God has spoken over your life will come to pass. Not because of your strength, not because of your effort, but because of the favor that is working on your behalf. David understood this. Before he ever became king, he was just a shepherd boy, overlooked by his own family. When the prophet Samuel came looking for the next king of Israel, David wasn't even invited to the meeting. His own father didn't think he was qualified. But God's favor had already chosen him, and when the time was right, nothing could stop that favor from placing him exactly where he was meant to be. The same will be true for you. No matter who overlooks you, no matter what has come against you, no matter what has tried to hold you back, the favor on your life is greater. It will open doors you never imagined. It will make ways where there seemed to be no way. It will propel you forward into your destiny. So don't give up. Don't shrink back. Don't let fear, doubt, or discouragement cause you to settle for less than what God has for you. Keep pressing forward. Keep believing. Keep standing in faith, knowing that favor is actively working for you. When you wake up in the morning, remind yourself, I am crowned with favor. I am surrounded by favor. Favor is opening doors for me. Favor is making a way. Favor is taking me places that I never could have gone on my own. Live with this mindset. Walk with this confidence, because the favor on your life is not just something passive. It is a force that is pushing you into the fullness of your destiny. There are moments in life when it may feel like you are being overlooked, as if you are stuck in the same place waiting for something to change. You may see others moving forward, receiving opportunities, stepping into new seasons, and you might wonder, when is it going to be my turn? But what you have to understand is that just because you don't see anything happening right now doesn't mean that nothing is happening. The favor on your life is already working behind the scenes, setting things in motion that you cannot yet see. When God places His favor on you, He does not do it halfway. He does not give you just enough to get by or just enough to sustain you. His favor is abundant, overflowing, and powerful enough to take you places you never imagined. But sometimes that favor requires a season of preparation, a time where things may seem quiet, where it looks like nothing is shifting. Those moments are not delays, they are divine positioning. Think about Joseph. He had a dream as a young boy that one day he would be in a position of leadership, that others would bow before him. But instead of stepping into that promise immediately, he found himself betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and later in prison for something he didn't even do. If you had looked at his life in those moments, you would have thought the favor on him had disappeared. You would have thought that the dream he had would never come to pass. But what Joseph didn't realize in the moment was that everything he was walking through was setting him up for something greater. The pit was not his final destination. The prison was not where his story ended. In fact, those moments of difficulty were preparing him for the palace. The favor on his life never left him. It was simply working behind the scenes, positioning him for the right moment. That's why you don't have to be discouraged when things seem slow. You don't have to get frustrated when it feels like nothing is changing. The favor on your life is still there. It is still working, still orchestrating things in your favor. Just because you don't see the results yet doesn't mean the outcome isn't already set in place. David experienced something similar. He was anointed as king while he was still a shepherd boy. Samuel poured the oil over him, declaring that he was chosen. But after that moment, David didn't immediately step into the palace. He didn't instantly sit on the throne. Instead, he went back to the fields, back to tending sheep, back to the place where he had always been. If you had looked at David in that season, you would have thought he must have misunderstood. Maybe that promise wasn't really for him, but in reality, God was preparing. David had already been crowned with favor, but before he stepped into his full destiny, he needed to be refined, to grow, to develop the strength and character required to carry the blessing that was coming. The favor on his life never left him. It was simply working in a way that couldn't yet be seen. That same favor is on you. You may feel like you've been waiting, like you've been overlooked, like you've been passed by while others are moving forward. But what you need to understand is that just because you are not there yet doesn't mean God's favor is not working. There is a reason for the timing. There is a reason for the process. There is a reason for the waiting. If God opened every door for you right now, if He gave you every opportunity you've been believing for this very moment, you might not be ready to step into it. It is the process that strengthens you, that develops you, that prepares you for the fullness of what He has in store. Think about Esther. She was chosen to be queen, but before she ever stepped into that position, she had to go through a season of preparation. She spent months being refined, going through the process required to stand before the king. It wasn't that she wasn't already favored, it was that she had to go through the steps necessary to step into the fullness of her calling. The same is true for you. The waiting is not a sign that you were forgotten. The delay is not a sign that you are being overlooked. It is simply preparation for something greater. This is why you must stay faithful where you are. Don't allow frustration to cause you to quit. Don't let disappointment make you believe that nothing is happening. Keep showing up. Keep doing your best. Keep trusting that the favor on your life is leading you exactly where you are meant to go. At the right time, things will shift. At the right time, the opportunity will come. At the right time, the door will open, and you will step into something greater than you could have ever orchestrated on your own. That's what happened to Joseph. One day he was in prison, forgotten and overlooked. The next day, he was standing before Pharaoh, interpreting his dream and being promoted to the second highest position in the land. His breakthrough didn't come gradually. It came suddenly in a single moment. That's how favor works. It may seem slow, like nothing is changing, but then suddenly everything shifts. Suddenly the opportunity appears. Suddenly the right person notices you. Suddenly the door that had been shut for years swings wide open. So don't give up in the waiting. Don't grow weary in the process. The favor on your life is still there. It has been placed on you, and nothing can take it away. When you understand this, you start to live differently. You stop stressing over timelines. You stop worrying about how everything is going to work out. You wake up with confidence, knowing that you are not just waiting aimlessly, you are being prepared. So hold your head high. Walk with assurance. The favor on your life is greater than any setback, stronger than any opposition, more powerful than any delay. At the right time, in the right moment, you will step into everything that has already been planned for you. Keep trusting, keep believing, keep standing in faith, because the favor on your life is not just a possibility, it is a promise. And when the time is right, that favor will propel you forward in ways you never imagined. As you move forward in life, remember that you are not ordinary, You are not forgotten. You are not at the mercy of circumstances or the opinions of others. You have been crowned with favor. It is not something you have to earn, not something you have to fight for, not something you have to prove yourself worthy of. It has already been placed upon you, already declared over your life, already working behind the scenes in ways you cannot see. There will be moments when it feels like nothing is changing, moments when you wonder if the promises spoken over your life will ever come to pass. But do not let delays discourage you. Do not let opposition shake your confidence. Do not let setbacks make you forget who you are. What is meant for you is already set in motion. What has been declared over your life cannot be stopped. The doors will open. The opportunities will come. The right people, the right connections, the right resources. They will find you at the perfect time. Like Joseph, you may have been through challenges that seemed unfair. Like David, you may have felt overlooked. Like Esther, you may have had to go through a season of preparation before stepping into your calling. But every step, every moment, every challenge has only been preparing you for something greater. Walk with confidence, knowing that favor is making a way for you. Speak with assurance, knowing that you are destined for more. Live with expectation, knowing that the best is still ahead. No obstacle is greater than the favor that is on your life. No delay is permanent. No opposition can stop what has already been set in motion. So lift your head, square your shoulders, and move forward with boldness. Favor is opening doors. Favor is clearing a path. Favor is positioning you for greater things. Your best days are still ahead. And the favor on your life will carry you into everything that has been planned for you.